afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacaster from your host, Imperial Dane, Master Propaganda Hero, like Defender of the Fatherland, off here to 2 vs 2 on Rails and Metals. In the north, it's Apple and Wex fighting for the American United States Armed Forces here with the 3rd Armour Division. We got Tactical Support Armour Company, Infantry, Heavy Cavalry, more armour, and Mechanized Support with lots of infantry. Versus on the side, we got Justin XV and NimahF, or Justin 15. Fighting for, well, the German army, the Wehrmacht, taking on the role here of the 2nd Panzer Division with Jaeger Armour, assault support, German Infantry, Jaeger Armour, and German Mechanized. With lots of machine gun bulletins here for the Germans, particularly Justin. There's 3 MG42 bulletins, bit of infantry, and man bulletins as well for NimahF. Sniper starting off for NimahF as he hopes to bleed out the American advance, initiating a early war of attrition as Justin aims for Canadia's MG42s, both Wex and Apple. Oh, actually, Apple is going for a very early mortar. An interesting choice there. Probably expecting mortars, but he's going to get hit by snipers instead. Of course, he can try to sort of hit them with a mortar or just smoke them off, meaning the sniper can't really utilize his range effectively if there's constantly smoke in the way. Then the skirmishing around, TMD42 grabbing a few pioneers wiring off any sort of around the house. Here's the enemy can't easily sort of just pop up in front of the house there. A rifleman for Wex, and for Apple, we got nothing further there. Probably getting more riflemen. There we go. Slow advance on the west side, grabbing the fuel point here. Skirmishing in these riflemen moving up. Almost got the fuel point here, going to moving to the house. Americans moving to the centre as well. Bit of a broad approach. Victory point denied to the armies. And we got a sniper as well for Justin. So both German players here are going to aim for snipers, going to try and bleed out the Americans. An interesting choice here. We'll have to see how this works out. Of course, if successful, it's going to be quite uncomfortable for the Americans. Right from there, straight into the MG42's line of fire. Going to need to not get into the house. They might hope to bait them. And then again, there's only one window here, so they're going to need to theoretically do a lot of damage that way. MG42 then is caught in front of the broadside of the house, meaning they're taking full damage from the rifle, which is obviously turning out to be less great here. Sniper around there for Justin. NimahF on the west. This guy, sniper there, screened by the pioneers. Backing up here, rifle, and they've suddenly found themselves shot in the back of their heads by the sniper. Very good work there by NimahF, supporting his teammate, not making much move there. We got a fighting position being set up to defend the fuel point there. Nice work by Apple. That's going to make it much harder for the Germans in the early game to deal with that. Resistance forcing with the machine gun. Good play there by Wex. Some aggressive play there. We got the sniper joining in, being to snipe some of those armies. More grenadiers on the way there for Justin. NimahF also adding in more grenadiers here. Meanwhile, Apple there floating a bit of resources. Wex, I believe, is taking out there. That's most likely going to be the lieutenant. That could be the captain. Riflemen thinking about, they're causing a full rout here for NimahF. As the front line collapses, sniper draws away here, trying to avoid getting shot by the Americans. No surrender here. And even the worst, that was more likely just get shot if they tried to surrender, because it turns out no one particularly liked them. Them and flamethrower operators, they generally sort of just pulled aside and shot, even if it's like the rules of war generally say you shouldn't do that. The average soldier still kind of did it anyways, because they really hated those guys. It was sort of a universal thing. Gonna do a rifleman here. A rifleman being routed, moving up here in the east. Both snipers that are alive so far here, but the Germans have lost a bit of ground here to the Americans early on. Fighting position there being upgraded with the 50 caliber mount. Up here we got the captain on the way for Apple. Wex with the lieutenant and the captain. So he's basically committing to both. He's just going to use it to get a lot of infantry out at the same time, of course, it up for support weapons. An interesting choice there by Wex. An interesting choice. Victory point there once more ceased. One in the center being nabbed by the pioneers. We've got the sniper there planning covering fire, popping the head of the American soldier there. Note the Americans themselves, while they did not actually have snipers because they don't have any sniper training schools or anything like that. They relied on marksmen, which aren't quite snipers. So, little fun fact there. Got a kill there, 4 kills so far. Justin sniper. Got telemines starting to blow up any American light vehicles that might rush ahead. In theory, of course, could also try and set it off, but sadly there's no easy way of doing it. You can't just say, you know, sneak in a detonation cord and just trigger it safely like it was a demolition charge, which the actual telemines could be. Again, the telemines were surprisingly useful and, well, flexible in a sense. Anyways, rather they're being routed. Justin gains the territory here for the 2nd Panzer Division in the west. 3rd Armoured attempts another push here to defend the fuel point. And of course, for the flank position out, it is somewhat easily done already. The Germans can't easily go forward directly. They'll have to push for the car point initially and then flank behind anyways. Machine gun is about to get routed. Mortar fire proved to be too much of a hazard here for NimahF's Maschinengewehr. In the centre, Vex's lieutenant routed, almost taken out. In the south here, we got the captain moving up with a bar, but he's halted by the MG-42, the better Maschinengewehr. Here we got the light mechanized company up for NimahF. As for Justin, we got light mechanized company as well. So far, no doctrine from either German player or American player. They are so far a bit quiet on that department. Apple Strange and a half-track. That's for Wex. We got Heavy Cavalry and a half-track as well. So that's double anti-aircraft half-tracks. No Stuart light tanks or anything like that. Just half-tracks with anti-aircraft guns and a promise of pain. But first doctrine is Heavy Cavalry. Hopefully he's going to be seeing any ranges or mines or sandbags or anything like that. But it could certainly put the Captain Lieutenant into a bit more perspective, as, I mean, your lights are going to use that just to stall into Pershing, so that could be an indicator that Wex will be stalling into the Pershing. How successful it's going to be, but of course it's going to be another matter entirely. Hang on. Sorry about that. Cat was making a bit of a fuss, wanting attention, so just napped him there. So he's relaxing and purring on my lap now. But anyway, it's double half-tracks, double the firepower. 2-2 out here for Justin. NimahF with a 2-2 him as well. Sniper gaining the first star. His first little promotion, though Justin's already there with 10 kills. More termites down here, very good work. They could try and play some a bit more aggressively. These are just sort of saying more defensive telemines, which kind of usually only work then if the enemy's broken through the lines. Sadly, in this regard, the Germans are not able to really push ahead, so they don't have to see the opportunity to lay down more aggressive telemines, obviously. Ow. Cat is quickly jumping up on my shoulder. Second doctrine is Jaeger Armour for NimahF. Very interesting early choice. But obviously means he's got a clear plan then. We'll have to, of course, see how much he makes use of it. Pioneers being routed here by the half-track. Fighting on the centre, there you go. Nice flank here by Wex, trying to move behind the German lines. Not as smart to cut the flank, no machine gun bunker or anything else, going to make it much easier. And of course, with Justin's attention on the road and the centre, it further becomes easier for Wex to take advantage of said attention. So nice play there. You could also theoretically lay down the smoke screen. Ambulance on the way, by the way. Cat's off again. Silly little bastard. 9 kills from the sniper still here. Got a big push here against Justin. And the 2-2 goes down. In fact, he's getting swamped here. Nimah needs to be a bit faster to back up with Justin in the east, as he is finding himself rather heavily outgunned, though he might want to consider using incendiary armor piercing rounds for increased damage, as there's a really good ability. Also helps us as light vehicles if they get too bloody close. But Justin is finding himself being beaten a bit to the sniper there, getting off more kills. 17 kills, close to Veteran 2 already. Whereas NimahF's sniper has, well, yet to really much, but there you go, an incendiary explosive round. The B-Patronen, which stands for Beobachtungspatronen, which basically means observation round. I'm assuming it was used to mark targets in a sense. Fuel point cut off, nice play there by Wex. Got the pack foot up to help deal with those half-tracks. Nothing further going on there in the German bases, I believe, for the American bases. No tag up further, I believe they're happening further, though. Apple rather suffered greatly against the Germans in that assault, even lost his mortar here to a nice flank for the 2-2. Good work there by NimahF. Of course, I can't leave Justin to take all this beating that much. Wex so far looking to be the stronger player. Part of do, I would say, some reasonably good flanks. So we'll have to see what happens next. But Justin and Apple so far are the 2 remaining players without a doctrine. Sweden push here, Sniper continue to get off kills here for the German army. Veteran T2, 18 kills. Could roll up the 2-2 to flank and clear out that fighting position, allowing the Germans to boot on the fuel point. That would be a great thing for them in the east, though. Moving up again. Pack 40 in position. Or at least that is what you'd assume, but there you go. Still was about a bit, and there you go. Lands a nice hit on the half-track. At that range, you might be able to actually get away with it, knock it out, and get it. Very nice work there by Justin's Panzer, the Canona crew. demolishes Wex's after their punishment for, say, extending it without any sort of clear reconnaissance, or even just a bit of infantry support to scout slightly further ahead than that. So that was a bit of a mistake that Wex, but obviously from Justin to take full advantage of the 2-2 rolling back here. And these skirmishing going on there as Wex launching an infantry assault here. No grenades to help sort of push through, but admittedly, machine is rather further back there. In the west, Apple and the Americans grabbing the Wex support there. We've got the NB42 laying down fire, preventing any direct movement. Center road, by the way, is really open. A bit of harassment could be really good by the Americans. And we got Germany for Justin. Stormtroopers and, of course, veteran squad leaders would be pretty solid. You could also consider light half-track. Bit tricky to use, but say a light half-track combined with some stormtroopers is actually a pretty nasty tactic. Panzer Grenadiers with the support package would also be very solid, but there you go, we've got the stormtroopers called out. And I imagine all these MP40s being added to them. There you go. The Schmeiser. And the West assault continues upwards here as NimahF counterattacks. We've got area cons calling as well to help sort of suss out targets. Probably help spot for the Pack 40s can take out the half-track. Though of course the half-track can very quickly shoot down the air reconnaissance craft there. Stormtroopers the captain up close. Then again at that range the Stormtroopers need to get a bit closer. If you can get the Grenadiers to draw fire, you can get close in with the Stormtroopers a bit better. Grenades up here for Wex, very good. Very sort of, oh, gets caught in the house. God damn it, Carl. You throw like an idiot. There you go, bunker down. That's going to open up the fuel point there for German harassment more directly. Stormtroopers out there. 3 men to go. MP40s readied. Right, they're being caught, and there you go. Tactical advance, increasing the damage here. Of course, the problem is with the way the shot range works, you sort of have to be sort of positioning it correctly, or else you can quickly find yourselves just firing in the pointless direction. So it's a bit of a tricky one. It's less effective as retreating units, unless you can sort of really set it up well, which can be a bit tricky. But if you can combine it with, say, the Panzer Grenadier support package and that target, you can really do some nasty damage. So of course, that's a bit more of an advanced infantry combo. In the west, they're claiming the fuel point. We can see NimahF moving up here to establish a more solid forward line, and to tank it up here, though, for Apple to deflect any German vehicle attacks. Pack 40 is a bit on the slow side here, but moving up nonetheless. Germans so far gaining a lot of ground here. Bunkers, mines, and all that would be a pretty good idea to sort of dig in with. Maybe an additional machine gun, and a lot of pushing ahead for medium armour. Big push of infantry for Apple. NimahF gets no machine gun nearby, nothing else to store up. We got another storm squad out here by the way for Justin. And Germany, storms immediately getting countered here with a grenade. No further support weapons nearby. Grenadiers can't support from here since there's a blind angle there. Sniper retreating immediately. Storms doing the counter out the house. MP40 is not being upgraded. Pioneers moving up here. Tech up down there for Justin. NimahF might also have done some tech up. Pushing for tier 4 there. In which case Justin should just get support McCop. I think both of them pushing for tier 4 right now. If they got an advantage, would be too risky. Would give the Americans too much of a chance to get back into the game by losing too much tempo there. So, oh, Pack 40 right there for NimahF. That is huge. Also noting he's a bit short in infantry. You should generally at least have a minimum of 3 squads. I definitely recommend Panzer Grenadiers. They do get a bit overlooked, but Panzer Grenadiers in the right hands, I would say, are pretty solid infantry. So we'll have to see what it ends up with. Justin and I would say has a reasonably solid infantry complement with 4 infantry squads. Similarly, Apple's got, well, 3. That's not bad. And Wex has got 4 there. Actually, he's got 5 with 3 rifle and the captain and the lieutenant to count them as infantry. So that's pretty good there for Wex. That is a very infantry heavy complement, which is going to be a bit tricky there for the Germans to compete with. Machine gun bugger up here. There's a nice choice by Justin. Makes it harder for Wex to flank, which is, you know, never bad. Also frees up troops to do other things. But there you go. Pack not secured. Push ahead here, but an insufficient amount of infantry makes it hard for him to sort of really do anything bigger there, as the infantry is all the way back here, and he's got not much else than that. Sniping about there, 22 kills. Pioneers, Stormtroopers, both squads mobilised. Second squad still could be upgraded with MP40s. Here it comes, is off again from NimahF. Apple remains without a doctrine, without a clear plan in a sense. So of course he's pulling from medium armour. Wex going for a pack howitzer. Definitely starting to get the impression he is very much stalling for the Pershing, and if both German players decide to go for a heavy Panzer Corps, that's going to be more likely to work to a degree. So we'll have to see, of course, how they further do from that, but it's risky there. In particular, seeing the fuel harassment has not been fully effective due to that flank position up by the northern fuel point. Again, good work there by Apple. Heavy entanglement here between rearguards and stormtroopers up close. And he goes sweeping them away. 3 kills. Rifleman dealing with the cannon here. Half-track shot down the aircraft, gaining a bit of veterans in the process. Stormtroopers closing in, veterans 1 by week allows them to self-heal. That is a very nice thing to have. 24 kills halfway to victory for you on this sniper with just an XV. Grenadiers moving up, one with veteran squad leaders, one with a light machine gun. And we got the heavy machine gun joining in the fun as well. Stormtroopers in high ambush here by the eastern victory point on top of the machine gun bunker. Justin's clearly being a bit thorough about that. NimahF has got his heavy Panzer Corps. Justin is yet to go there. He should definitely be fast about it. I mean, if you're going to go both for it, you definitely need to be very fast about it as well, so your opponents don't catch you off guard with tanks. And for that matter, you don't give them too much time to install for a Pershing. Apple has yet to go and think he's got the tech, but it's less clear what he's planning here. Is it a, Sherman? Jackson tank destroyer? What is the general idea here by Apple? Rather than routing some of Justin's pioneers, as the right flank is once more coming under intense pressure. We got artillery running down here as well. Sniper doing what he can to pick off the armies in the west. And NimahF once more finds himself routed. His infantry unable to push through. He's finally going for additional infantry. Panzer gonna deal it. So good. Apple flooding a lot of manpower. Fuel cache is now a really good idea. And we got the Jackson tank destroyer. That's going to work. Plus a pack howitzer, increasing his artillery pieces by 1. That's going to put more pressure on NimahF and potentially on Justin as well, who has yet to build his heavy Panzer Corps. We got the heavy Panzer Corps by not finished here for NimahF. That is a bit awkward. Machine gun bunker up there. Fun fact, the Germans actually had, so say, prefabricated bunkers that could be sort of set up. They were sort of more pillboxes. They were basically just dug a hole and then you just tipped it forwards into it, and you basically had a pre-established machine gun bunker, sort of with room for 1 man. Little fun fact there. Can't remember rather what the name they had was, but they did exist. Storms there though, close to being wiped out. Yeah. Justin pushes luck a bit too fast. Sniper close to being annihilated as well. That certainly puts him further behind Wexen Infantry, who still has the full 5, meaning Wex is very able to play aggressively here, and that's going to be a challenge there for Justin to contend with. Sturmpanzer away from NimahF can help as the infantry, but less versus any tanks, so he's going to be able to play hard with that one. Justin is finally getting the heavy Panzer Corps. I do think some Panzer IVs and other things will help more by now, but that's just me. Wex, meanwhile, not far off here from the Pershing, but it's quite clear he's stalling for it. There you go, Panzerkampfwagen for Justin. Got the 2-2 rolling in. Jackson and half working together in unison to deflect any German assaults through the centre. And pack counter there being unleashed upon Justin's bunker. Grenadiers, Panzers marches up to flank. Got a sniper joining in here from NimahF in the east as well. Seemingly having given out, at least for a brief while on the west, to try and support his team a bit more. Not a bad idea there by NimahF, as long as he doesn't get too caught up there. Switching to on the Stormtroopers, Brownhand gun out off. You might want to consider some replacement troops. Panzer Grenadiers, upgrading the support package would be a really good, I think, addition there to Justin's forces. Sturmpanzer arrives, and there you go, routing Apple's infantry, sending them scurrying away like a rat's nest. Bar dropped here, Grenadiers, Panzer Grenadiers unleashing hell upon the retreating American infantry. In the east, Wex launches another assault here, his lieutenant and captain doing the work here, as Leerson's back them up with a mighty minesweeper. And there you go, Stormtrooper squad number 2 gets wiped. Justin's down to just 2 infantry squads. That is awfully little here, particularly when he also has only 1 machine gun. Justin, I think, needs to sort of realign his infantry, because it's going to be difficult to attack with just 2 infantry squads, but it's also going to be difficult to defend with just 2 infantry squads. Got Rifle Grenades, NimahF bring up the Sturmpanzer support here. Almost obliterating the entire Rifle Squad. Very good, so they're secured by 2 Panzers bleeding out for the American. In fact, they're down to 187 right now. There's the Germans, 483. Great for them, by the way, less great for the Americans. Panther going for the pack outer. Rifleman Grenadiers opening up there, cutting down to Arnie Schwein. And the Panther up going to try and finish off that pack outer. Not a bad idea there for Justin. Shoots, misses, Wex very close to the Pershing, heavy tank, and we got the Panther being engaged, but the Jacks need to fall back. West side is seeing absolutely no action. Bit overlooked, I think, there by NimahF. At least he's got 3 infantry squads. Panther there might have pushed a bit too far in the east, need to be careful. Big push here from Apple to counterattack in the west, continue skirmishing around TMD 42-2 and a few grenadiers rounding there to reclaim that. 5 kills on the Panther. Sweeping assault continues here for Apple. Justin's lines have to reorganize to be able to hold this efficiently. And the problem is he sort of lacks, I would say, infantry force to do that in a good condition, or a heavy machine gun, and that one's well, I'm not entirely sure where it is, but it's not anywhere remotely close to the front line, which means it might as well not be there, obviously. In fact, it's back at the base, so yeah, it's nowhere near it. Pershing on the way there for Wex. Apple still remaining without a doctrine. And Justin really needs to start replacing his infantry. Mines being spotted here to do hammering away. Takes a nice hit from the Jackson. Panther for NimahF. We got the Strucker bomb dropping as well. That's for Justin. Nothing further there. Looks like he's trying to take out that pack outer. And instead mostly takes out dirt and insects. Maybe a few rats. Pioneers obliterate with the Pershing. Wex's armoured assault is now in full swing here. Most of those centered around the M26 Pershing. A heavy tank that would later be redesignated as a medium tank after the war. Also not have a very long sort of, shall we say, service time after the war, as it was slowly being replaced by the M46 pack. There you go, Panther going straight here for the Pershing, pushing it back. The centre rifle expressing the machine gun bunker. Pack out fire continue to rain down. The bunker is slowly crumbling. Its earthen fortifications unable to withstand the might of the pack howitzer. And sadly, just is not doing much repair. In the west here, we got a counterattack going on here. He's trying to push through the western lines, and we got smoke screen off of Wex here to further obfuscate Justin's eastern defences. Very good. Committing to double pack 40s, I mean, he's clearly worried about the arm, and I can understand that. Though with a Panther, I think he should be prioritising and also being able to deal with infantry. I mean, his opponent still has a lot of riflemen. The problem is, while the sniper can, cause attrition, it's not particularly suited for actually halting an attack. In that regard, that means he's only got 1 MD42 and some grenadiers, so if Wex makes a really strong push, Justin's just going to crumble like, a poorly made cake. So it's a bit risky here for Justin, to be honest, the game he's playing at. Sturmpanzer move out in the west. Panzerwerfer has fired and hit absolutely nothing. NimahF's assault went basically nowhere. In the east, Justin's lines are in fact crumbling here, unable to withstand the infantry backed up by artillery and now the Pershing. He is struggling. Sniper there with 35 kills of real ace sniper. Now he's going for the Panzerwerfer. That can somewhat help, but it's not really a substitute for having enough infantry. It can sort of help soften up attack or disrupt attacks and soften up defenses, but if you can't really attack, can't really defend well, the Panzer is going to be sort of limited. In that sense, it's more of a force multiplier than anything. And right now, there's not really a lot to multiply, if you get my idea. So I feel like Justin is going to a bit of a potential blind or dead end here. So we'll have to see how that works out. I think a Sturmpanzer would be better for him, or more infantry, maybe another Panther. Since the Panther is, still able to put pressure on properly against infantry and the Panzerwerfer, which barrage, and then that's it for several minutes. Aircraft shut down against. We got Armour here for Apple, and we got the Bulldozer showing out. Fancy that. Notice got a small update there to the icon as well to sort of further highlight it's the Bulldozers German. Cut out the 50 caliber there. They're usually about, I think, a couple of bullet 105mm Shermans per, I think, Sherman battalion. Sort of attached wherever they needed. Sort of perform the same role as a CoH2 42 that is just dealing with infantry and dug in troops and such. So a little fun fact there. They didn't always have the bulldozer. That could have been attached wherever they needed it to be attached to. Push up the eastern side. We got Pershing there with riflemen there, basically thwarting Justin's attacks. Justin's infantry being pushed to the very limits, and the Pack 40 for that matter as well, since they got nothing to really protect them. Panzer Barrage-off is almost wiped out. And there we go, annihilate. The Panzer Barrage managed to do, well, it got the Pack howitzer, but it's not stopping the assault. Because again, there's not really much to, you know, slow down the assault sufficiently for the Panzer to actually have a chance to hit it. So with this, Justin's front line has collapsed. He's down to just one infantry screen. He needs to rebuild up his infantry and push forwards again. In the west, NimahF is holding up against Apple, who's just pounding away. Bulldozer Sherman there so far not actually gaining any kills, but still is doing damage and is being a threat, and it's also just being a big sponge. Victory points whilst the Americans are really low, so the Germans still have a good chance of winning this on victory points, but if Justin does not, you know, fix his force composition, I don't think they're going to win on anything but victory points, and even that could risk being a bit unlikely. Troops here being caught up by lots of rifle. There you go, knocked out the Pershing. Plunges a 90mm armor piercing round into that incredibly soft body, annihilating it. Bulldozer Sherman moving ahead, taking hits from Pack 40s. Riflemen there being suppressed alongside their captain and lieutenant. Note they could have tried popping smoke screens. Instead goes to the grenades. Bulldozer Sherman there slightly hanging back there, apparently deciding, you know, they don't need its help. Panther moving up here a bit too far ahead. These pioneers moving up. Got the Panther going for a deep flank against the Pershing. A bold attempt, but overexposed. And again, without sufficient infantry support, he has to fall back. He's got nothing to protect the flanks of the Panther. Which, you know, is actually quite important. I mean, that's what the role of the Panther going to do as well, you know, to help ensure enemy tank hunter teams couldn't just him up and take out the tank. I mean, hell, by the later stages of the war, it wasn't common for, you know, Panthers to have specific designated escort infantry to support them, like, say, the Stooges actually did. So, you know, definitely not the best push there. I think, you know, some Pentagon of these with a support package would have been great here. But that is ultimately a missed opportunity there by Justin. Sturmpanzer moving up here, blasting away. 3 kills so far. Not particularly impressive. I mean, the Panthers actually killed more than that. I mean, he's gotten 10 kills. But certainly highlights just the Panthers' machine guns are pretty good at it. I mean, they don't have to say it's always, you know, fire for a big round that looks splashy, but they're more consistent, if you will. Panzer have good to go once more here. Still not more infantry for Justin. NimahF with his infantry complement. Got the Sturmpanzer moving up here. I think he might be strong enough for the Elephant, but the question, of course, is going to matter. He might not get off going for a Panther. 61 versus 389. That Sherm's going to need some repairs. Troop ceiling reinforcing. Going to do is moving for the victory point to keep up the bleeding on the armies. We got 32 kills there, and we got 40 kills. Those snipers definitely have an impact there on the Americans, but again, they're good for long-term attrition, but they're just not going to stop an attack on their own. So if they're doing a lot of damage, they're not necessarily helping that much in terms of the, shall I say, ground. Oh, grenade off. Wipes the ace machine gun. That's quite a blow there to NimahF. Makes it much harder for him to actually stall his opponent's infantry. And the east, oh, he lost a unit there, and that was a fresh grenadier squad that had just arrived. He managed to lose just as fast. That is not good there for Justin. That is not good. Sturmpanzer now being mobilized here for Justin. Probably to help with the infantry, though, again, I don't think he can quite fully compensate for the fact that Justin has, well, more or less no infantry by now. We got a bunker up here for NimahF. That's going to be a command bunker to help him maintain a forward position. That's good, as long as he doesn't blow it apart with his own anti-tank guns. Good lord. Third Armour pushing up here for a centre push with the Captain Lieutenant backed up with the Pershing. Sturmpanzer gains 32-7 kills. Panzer with a barrage off to further try and break it off. And there you go, the Captain gets shell shock there quite a bit. And we got a second bulldozer Sherman out here for Apple. He's going to try and just hammer his way through the German line. Panther going in for the Pershing. Direct hit there. 12 kills so far. Close to Veteran 2. Nice hit there, Veteran 2. In fact, he's got more kills than the Pershing, which is actually kind of impressive. But I would say Justin has been using his Panther reasonably actively versus infantry. So, I mean, you know, that's to be expected. But still, again, people tend not to think as the Panthers being good at all versus infantry, because most people tend to only look at the main gun. But like the machine guns do quite a bit of damage on the Panther. Particularly if you have to depend on machine gun, they are a reasonably good source of anti-infantry firepower. Again, they can't stop blast, but so you keep up pressure, constantly just slowly whittle down units, and particularly doing large attacks. That can be helpful as well. But that Panther's going to need repairs, and Justin, that man, needs infantry. I mean, for a fellow who's gone for a German infantry doctrine, the sheer absence of infantry increasingly does stand out. But he's upgrading the Pioneers with veteran squad leads, by the way. That is good. That helps him repair faster, by the way, besides their combat abilities. 51 to 374, though. Pershing there, Veteran T2, Sniper continuing to killing away there, 43 kills. Rifle pulling ahead here, Grenadiers getting shot to bits. Panther, well, still need repairs. But as you might notice again, it's a bit harder for him to just hold the front line due to that lack of infantry. It becomes much easier just, you know, for Wex to silence any actual points of resistance with a smoke screen, because there's nothing else he really has to worry about then. In the west centre, we got Justin backing up there. Wex, I would say, is handling things well. Of course, Apple is as well, though his bulldozer Sherman seem to be dancing a bit about here, seemingly unsure where they want to go against this. Bit of a deeper flank here could be quite effective, landing up behind the pack would be great here. Sturmpans moving up here, Pershing being routed. Veteran C2 still. And there you go, bulldozer Sherman moving ahead, Jackson backing up. Other one very much far removed from the front line for now. There we go, NimahF's Grenadiers annihilated. Wex seems to be out by sending in his Pershing in that far alone. But he has taken up by Wex, actually going for a Jackson tank to help us further the German army, and particularly I imagine that Panther is very much on Wex's mind. Anti-tank landing up some good hits there. Armour piercing nice by popped in. Panther going for a flank here, backed up with the Pack 40. Can he do it fast enough? Nice hit there. Oh, Pack turned too fast here. The Panther's fall back, so got the Jackson moving in to help deal with it. We got a grenade attempted there with the Pershing, but obviously falls short. Pulling ahead with the Panther, again exposing himself to a lot of fire now. Need to be careful here with that Panther, that's the only one he has. He has at least gone for more infantry, which is good, but no Panther on these are stormtroopers, which I think would be a bit more expedient, and at least the stormtroopers would be, of course, a bit more suited in some ways. We got a fragmentation bombing run called in, I think, to try and catch up and stuff. Possibly the Sherman crew. Nope. It's to take out the Pack Howitzer crew. Also gets the Jackson. That's pretty lucky there. Pretty nice. In east there, Sniper being routed, machine coming up here. Veteran 3 ace level. But Smokescreen again obscures his line of fire. Good work there by Wex. In the center, NimahF and Apple are bashing it out like, well, Microsoft and Apple. Rifle flanking up, clearing up. Oh, NimahF's ace pack crew. That's going to be a big loss. A massive loss. And the Panzerwehr howls, unleashing hell there. Jackson getting caught in it. Then it is getting hammered here. And routed. Sturmpanzer slowly approaching Veteran fleet. Got the Pack 40 hammering away. Pioneer spotted by the Sherman and are getting forcefully pushed away. Sturmpanzer shooting, but there you go, directly from the Jackson, piercing his armor. No, by the Pershing and the Jackson at the same gun. And there you go, loads of grenades. Wex only proving himself to be a sharp infantry player there. Having, I think, actually not lost a single infantry squad, by the way, and kept them in pretty good condition and upgraded all the time. Is very solid. Certainly a fellow who knows his stuff. I would have liked to see a few Rangers, but I guess if he does this well, he doesn't need them. Meanwhile, Justin is not really putting more infantry. NimahF is also short. In fact, looks like the Germans on a bit of a top spot, though apparently they have done some damage to Wex there. Obviously, he can replace the losses more easily. So right now the Americans can control all the victory points. They're down to 49, but the Germans are bleeding out fast. They are struggling a bit more on the attack, but partly because, again, they're lacking infantry. In particular, NimahF in this department is in a bit of a tough spot. High force dealing with the Persian. He's trying to. Grenadiers there, pushing ahead. Already 2 health. Already a sliver of a 2-man sliver of health. 47 kills. 291 here. The German warfare there is collapsing there. Grenadiers almost annihilated. We've got artillery called in as well. So the Germans can't move through here to actually go towards the victory point. That's basically blocking fire. There you go. Nice flank here by Apple. Taking advantage of Nimah here, not showing any presence, and then going in support against Justin here. Further causing havoc, and there goes Snowball, taken out by the Pershing. Panthers good to go once more here for Justin. But the German cause is looking a bit wobbly here. MD42 straight to the line of fire here with the Pershing. That is not working out well. Double pack forces are going up there. Hammering away. And the ace machine gun goes down. Quite a loss there for Justin. We got the Panther in there closing in to 3. Jackson flanking up here. Artillery fire unleashed and destroying whatever's on the hill, which is the pack howitzer crew. And sadly not the rest. There you go. Pershing caught in the kill zone here with double packs and the Panther. And the Panther's blitzing as well, just trying to make sure instead exposes himself to Jackson fire, and who knows what else causing a rout there. Very close to an ace level on that Panther. At the same time, on the west, we got the Bulldozer Shermans rolling through NimahF's remaining lines. Punishing him for just not having an actual tank like the Panther instead. And tried to go for the Elephant, but ultimately short on manpower, constantly can't actually go for it. So I think NimahF just gone for a Panther, they'd be better off. Panther there, finding HCA's level, 13 kills, cutting through the Americans with machine guns, trying to hit them with the main gun. Machine gun carrying fire, we've got loads of grenades against that machine gun and obliterated. Bulldozer Shermans flanking in. It's an absolute hellish situation here for the Germans. The Panther was knocked out by the rolling Bulldozer Shermans. Pack were about to get annihilated as well there. Panther trying to stop this, getting hit there by the Jackson from the north. Veterans who won. And there you go, Bulldozer Sherman finishes off. There we go, Justin drops out. And with that, I'm managing NimahF will be joining them soon. Panther down. And there we go, he just dropped straight up. So there you go. Game over. A loss here for the German army. They started out reasonably well, but strategically they, I think, got a bit too greedy here. Both going for heavy the Panzer Corps, but also there was some issues there with the force composition. In Justin's side, I feel like there was just not enough infantry support and also, attack forwards. And on NimahF's side, kind of feel like the heavy elephant plan wasn't quite, well executed. Actually electing a tank there. In this regard, I do feel like, again, one of them should have gone for the support and brought up some medium armor to that way stabilize, put more pressure on, and then the other could have more safely gone for it. Instead, they sort of ended up in a situation where the Americans were able to catch up again. But the elephant plan there clearly should have been scuppered. He should just gone straight for a Panther, maybe even 2, and that will push back. So there's definitely some room for improvement there for the German side. Allies struggled a bit there again early game, but they were able to turn around with some good maneuvers, good flanking. I would also say some good teamwork, which I also felt was a bit lacking in between Justin and NimahF. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell everyone about your enemies. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you tomorrow again for another signing episode. If you like what I do, you can donate or pledge on Patreon. Links in the video description. And of course, if you do subscribe, remember to press the little bell. Otherwise, YouTube is less likely to tell you about my videos. So do keep that one in mind. This is Imperial Links and cheers, and see you all. Bye.